To Create, Share, Inspire podcast. This is episode 773. I'm Kristin Omdahl, and we're here live in Southwest Florida in my studio this morning. If you are joining me live, please say hello. I'm having some connection issues, and I can't decide if it's, oh, there we go. Well, YouTube is not loading on my computer properly, and I don't know if that's has any connection with. Oh, here we go. It's back. Well, it's not loading. It won't show me the comments on my computer. I am seeing comments on my phone though, so we shall see what happens. Good morning, Grace. If you are joining me live, please say hello. If you end up watching the recorded version, please also feel welcome to say hello. Hi, Angela, Thea, Donna, Carla, Melissa, good morning. I'm not going to be able to catch up on comments on my computer this morning, it looks like. Hi, Lisa, Donna, Christine, Trisha, Angela. Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. Yay. Hi, Karen. Hi, Lucy. Good morning. Happy Friday, everybody. I hope you have a lovely weekend planned. Maybe you'll make some time to craft or focus on any type of self-care that helps to soothe your soul. I know I have some plans for myself this weekend. I'm so proud of myself, actually. I just realized, what's today's date? Is today the 22nd? Okay, my New Year's resolution was to focus more on self-care, and I have to say, 22 days into the new year, and I'm still doing it. And you know what? I got to give myself a pat on the back. I'm really proud of myself for that. Self-care is not something that comes easily or naturally to me. Well, maybe it does, but I'm going to back up and correct that, because I think due to whatever bad habits that I may have created over the years for myself, I do not feel like self-care, it comes naturally to me. But I would imagine that self-care comes naturally to every human being if you can strip us of our bad habits. So I'm going to retract that statement and say, I'm just proud of myself that I have been able to make self-care a priority for myself so far this year. Hi, Becker. Do you want to come say good morning? Come here, honey. Somebody wants to come say hi. Hey, Becker, do you want to say hi to everybody? Who's a sweet baby kitty? Who's a handsome boy with big green eyes, huh? Who's that handsome boy? Look at that big belly. You want to see what he likes to do? Watch, he won't do it now, but he loves to sit here like this and have me pet his belly like this. Don't you, big boy? Oh, who's a good boy? Who's a sweet baby? Oh, he's purring. I think he's going to stay for a couple of minutes. Well, that's fun. Anyway, if anybody wants to share what you like to do for self-care, let me know. I'd love to hear it. Is knitting your self-care? Is crochet your self-care? Is meditation, yoga, going for a walk, reading a book? What do you like to do? I know for me, reading is something that I enjoy, taking time out. Anything that I can do that does not involve helping somebody else or doing something for somebody else or working or something that's just for the sake of doing, right? So it's not because you're making a gift. It's not because you have a deadline for something. If you're just doing or making just for, I feel like that's sometimes really good self-care. And if you're confused about what you can do for self-care, I know sometimes we can get in a rut and go, I don't even know where to begin. I guess closing your eyes and focusing on your breath, right? It doesn't have to be meditation. Sometimes the word meditation throws people because it sounds so intimidating. Honestly, just closing your eyes and listening to the sounds of nature, closing your eyes and focusing on your breath. Even doing that for a couple of minutes is something. I have a good friend of mine who is a practicing Buddhist. She told me when I was trying to, she's very good at yoga, and I admire her work on, not her work, her practice when she shares it on Facebook. And I said to her one day, I said, you know, I realize that I will just have to keep at it to get better, to eventually be at your level or more experienced one day, which really made me think of the way other people talk to me about knitting and crochet, right? I look up to her at her yoga skills like some people look up to me for my knit and crochet skills. And she told me something that I don't actually often say to people. I always say, just practice. You know, everybody started where you are, which are all great things to say to somebody who's looking up to your skill level. But she also said to me, it doesn't matter if you only have 10 minutes. You don't have to give up because you don't have 30, 40, or 60 minutes to do. So she said, even for her, if I only have 10 minutes in the morning, that's all the yoga I do that day. And there was something about the way she said that that completely took the pressure off me. And I have done yoga now every single day so far this year. And some of those days it's only been 10 minutes. And I feel like in the past when I have made a commitment to do yoga every day, if I didn't have 40 or 60 minutes to do a whole large routine, I would often say, oh, forget it, I'll just do it tomorrow, which we all know if you don't do something consistently, it's hard to create a habit or a routine. So I really loved hearing that for her. So I do want to share that with you as well. Experience builds upon itself no matter how many minutes you can spend doing something or how many hours you can do something. Obviously, it takes hours to become really experienced at anything, but experience builds on itself. So what if you only have 10 minutes a day to practice a new stitch or practice a new whatever you're doing? Sometimes I'm trying to learn a new melody or a new harmony on my piano or guitar. Sometimes I'm trying to learn a new technique in cooking. Sometimes I'm trying to learn or trying to teach. I don't know if I really, but anyway, I wanted to apply that to you as well. So, and share that with you as well. It doesn't matter what you're trying to learn or what you're trying to improve on. However many minutes you have is still more minutes than zero. So, and as long as experience builds on itself, anything more than zero is building upon your experience. I hope that is enlightening to you, and I hope that's empowering or maybe takes some of the pressure off, because I know when she shared it with me, it was like so relieving to me to get that reminder. So anyway, I'm not able to catch up on comments. If they scroll quickly, I can't catch them because my computer is not loading YouTube. But if you have questions for me, please share them. If there's anything you want to share, I would love to hear what you like to do for self-care, or I'd love to hear what your crafting plans are for this weekend. Whatever you feel like sharing with us, let us know. I am wearing that sheer floral blouse that I've worn that's white before. I did it. I think I told you that I found it in black on Amazon too. I'm also wearing it over a black bodysuit. I love sheer blouses, you know that. I think I'm a sucker for sheer blouses. That is a funny expression, isn't it? Joe's going to start knitting the Easy Knit Shrug this weekend. That's great. You know what, Joe? That is a super easy project, and once you get the hang of it, it's totally going to turn into a Zen project for you. I'm glad. That'll be awesome. What are you using to make it? I believe I used Be So Sporty bling for it, but I'm curious to see what you're making. I am working on my Tunisian cardigan right now. Thea is practicing entrelac and doing swatches. That's fun. That's actually a really fun technique to learn. Carrie started the Larissa scarf. That's wonderful. That's in seamless crochet motifs that you join as you go. If you haven't done that before, that will be fun to learn. I'm so bummed I can't catch up on comments over here. Is what pattern in the shop, Christine? I'm not sure which pattern you're talking about. A few patterns have rolled by. Hi, Sandshell. Good morning. Hopefully you don't mean this one. I'm not done with this pattern yet, so it's not available. You can see I do have the back done here. I have the back done on the mannequin, and I have one of the fronts done, or one of the fronts almost done. Let's see. Gosh, I wish I could catch up on comments better, but YouTube just won't load on my computer. It's like loading half the page, which is weird. Maybe I could try just starting a new tab. Let's see if that will work. If you have any questions for me, please let me know. Oh, Carrie just start. Oh, Carrie, you're the one working on the Larissa scarf, so you're learning the motifs that you join as you go. And she just got through the third motif, and she is feeling like she's getting it now. That's very exciting. Let's see. Let me try to open this. View on YouTube. And is it going to open? Yay! It opened this time. Great. Great. So, what else was I going to tell you about? Oh, I guess I could tell you what colors I used for the Tunisian cardigan that I'm working on. This is navy, indigo, periwinkle, prince, and silver lavender. And these 4 colors? These 5 colors are in Be So Baby yarn, which is $3.99. I was going to say a pound. I guess I'm thinking about food. I want to cook today. It's $3.99 a ball, but you can get a 10 ball bag discount for $34.99. Oh gosh, bloopers are so fun, aren't they? I get questions all the time about compiling bloopers for video. I feel like unless it's like right in my face and I made a whole bunch all at the same time in making a tutorial, it's too hard to collect them. But it sure would be fun to go back through and find a whole bunch of bloopers and put them together. 'Cause I know I used to always love that show when it would come on TV when I was a kid. And I'm not afraid of laughing at myself either. Oh, by the way, if anybody's curious, I tried curling my hair with the curling iron to create those beachy waves. It did not work out this morning. It doesn't look like beachy waves at all. I mean, it's more curly than straight hair, but I definitely need to practice at doing the spiral beachy waves. I think I did a pretty crappy job at it this morning, but I'm just going to keep at it because when you're trying something new, it's just about not giving up and keep practicing, right? So I will keep practicing. In the meantime, what else am I going to tell you about? There were a few, I wanted to get to side hustle conversation, but I did want to talk about a couple of other things first. Maybe I've covered everything. Does anybody have any other questions? I know there's a lot of side conversation going on, and that's totally fine. It just makes it harder for me to find questions. So if you think I've missed your question and it hasn't been answered, let me know. Hi, Geraldine. Good morning. Happy Friday, everybody. Okay, so I've seen an awful lot. Hold on a second. Lucy's working on a baby blanket. Shell Bell, you're asking about a sheet stock. I have no idea which document you're referring to. I'll need more information than that. Hi, Raven from California. Okay, so yesterday, or all week, we've really been continuing on talking about the different aspects of selling your progress in knitting and crochet, selling your projects in knitting and, I'm trying too hard to read the comments. And Judy is answering your question, Shell Bell. I don't think that the document went away. I think that it's still there. I haven't deleted the document or anything, but not very many people were working on the document, so I wasn't able to take the information and quickly put it onto the podcast. If it was filled out, so Shell Bell's asking about the Google sheet that I had put out that I allowed everybody to community-wise fill out for subjects so that we could tag all of the different podcasts. We're up to 773 episodes today, and there's been a whole lot of information and education shared in those, obviously, but without the ability to know what those subjects are in each, it's very difficult to go back and find old subject matter. So Judy's sharing a link again right now. So we did ask the community to help volunteer and fill them out. but it just, the progress didn't continue. There were a couple of people that did an awful lot of work, and I appreciate that very much, but it is such a giant project that it really needed to be collectively worked on by quite a few people. And since it never really maintained steam or maintained momentum, there wasn't enough information to go in and really reorganize all of the podcast episodes. Plus, it's something that keeps going every day. I mean, every week there's 5 new ones, so it really needs to become something that has momentum, or it's not enough information for me to go in and spend the time working on it. So that's the long answer. But again, if anybody wants to work on that or wants to commit time to it, it really needs to be a joint effort though. I feel like if there was a group of people that came together and said, hey, I'll work on these, I'll work on these, it's too big of a body of work for any one person to do, which is why it's gotten out of control and I can't do it either. So, oh, my hair's driving me nuts. I almost need to just pull it back. I don't like the way the curls turned out. Anyway. Ugh, nothing I can do about it now. Let's see. Happy birthday, Raven. Good morning. I'm glad you shared that it's your birthday. That's exciting. Raven wants to make a new project. I would definitely browse through my patterns. I've got tons of patterns for you to choose from. Oh, that's the other thing I wanted to mention to you. I am working very hard on getting the new website up and running. We're probably a couple weeks out still. I've got a lot of work behind the scenes today. We are diving into shipping and trying to figure out how to get shipping a little more efficient. So fingers crossed on that. There's a lot to do on a new website. Something I have very rarely shared over the years, how much work it can be at times, but that's fine. Okay, Judy's sharing single pattern links for who was asking for Raven. So if you want to browse through the patterns in the links that Judy's sharing, that would be a good start. Okay, so let's get back on topic, and unless there's an important question that comes in, I'd like to get back to side hustle. We've been talking about this all week. If this is a subject that interests you, you could start back on Monday or Tuesday probably. And originally I started talking about the different aspects of my experience of diving into the knit and crochet craft community and industry as a business, and how that is incredibly difficult, and it requires wearing lots and lots of hats, and it's not something that I encourage people to attempt unless you're really willing to commit to lots and lots of hours and lots of hats. Having said that, there are lots of other ways to make money in the craft industry as a side hustle, meaning it's not your sole income, meaning it's not your sole, it's not how you plan on supporting your whole family or what have you. So if you're looking to make part-time money, or maybe even just support your craft so that it can pay for itself and pay for the yarn so that you can spend your time knitting and crocheting without having to worry about the money, then that is a great opportunity. And whether it's because you enjoy designing and writing patterns, or you enjoy making things and selling the finished items, there's all sorts of ways to make extra money doing that. And you have to first ask yourself which one brings you joy. Maybe it's both, maybe it's one, maybe it's only knitting, maybe it's only crochet, maybe it's both of those as well. If you are looking to get into pattern writing, I think the first step would be finding your style, right? And making sure that you really understand how to write a pattern. There's lots of information on that out there, and we could certainly go over that on another show. But unless you're willing to put on all of the hats and learn how to create charts and schematics and do all the sizing and do all the photography and all the marketing, you might consider originally in the beginning selling your designs to other companies. So that would involve creating proposals and going to and reaching out to yarn companies or magazines or different larger businesses to get your design shown there. You would make a little bit of money doing that, and you would start to get the exposure and get that body of work in place so that you have a body of work to share as part of your bigger and meatier proposals in future designs. So all of that is really good. Then if you want to sell patterns yourself, that's a whole other animal. And like I said, it involves a lot of different hats and figuring out how to find customers, which brings me to the next step, which I think might be an easier way for finding new customers, and that's to sell finished items. Like we talked about in previous episodes this week, that if you're doing this as a side hustle, you don't necessarily have to incorporate your labor costs, because if you're selling finished items as a side hustle, you're looking to support your hobby time. So the time you spend on your hobby is the time that brings you joy and is something that is the highest priority here. So as long as that is your joy, you're getting paid in happiness and in Zen. You don't have to worry about the labor costs. So putting that aside, it's much easier to figure out a final cost or retail value for your finished items, which then fits the marketplace better, because in general, the market really doesn't, there really isn't a demand for incorporating Western civilization labor cost in high labor handmade items. So if you can take that aside and cover the cost of your yarn, cover some of your hidden costs, figure out some of your hidden costs. My computer's going crazy. My phone's blowing up, my computer's blowing up. It's so distracting. Anyway, but like we also talked about in the last week, just because you have items to sell and have a price in mind does not mean that you have customers to sell them to. There's a lot of components involved in making and selling. And I think the first and foremost thing is finding customers, right? And we very briefly talked about this at the end of yesterday's episode, but I really wanted to talk about it more, and saying that word of mouth and you yourself are your best advertising campaign. So every time you take photos on social media, or every time you go live on social media, or every time you walk out of your house, you have the ability to model and represent the lifestyle of wearing handmade items. And how do you do that? Well, I suppose doing it just to force yourself to do it is not actually style, right? And if you're just forcing yourself, okay, I'm going to wear a hat, I'm going to wear a scarf, I'm going to wear earrings, I'm going to wear a top. Here we go. Everybody look at me and buy my stuff. That's not how I'm suggesting to do it. It is what you might do if you get excited, right? When we all get excited, more is more, right? No, less is more. And if you can more subtly add in your knit and crochet items to your lifestyle and feel put together, that's when people will come up to you and go, wow, I really like your style. I really like that piece. Where did you get it? And to always have your cards handy. That's, I think, really key. Now, okay, we've got COVID going on right now, so we're not socializing as much as before, but we're still leaving the house. Like, if I wear something that's knit or crochet, even if I'm still wearing a mask, I gotta tell you, people still stop and ask what I'm wearing. So it can still be done. Obviously, you can always come up with excuses why something can't be done. And at the end of the day, every time you have an excuse for something, there's somebody else that's put that excuse aside and did it anyway. That's really important, right? It's really easy to stop ourselves from doing what we want to do because of fear and making excuses. So, yeah, we're not talking to people as much as we used to. We're not socializing as much as we used to in person, but we're still leaving the house. And if you're leaving the house, you could still have something on. Maybe wear a pair of sparkly crochet earrings. Maybe wear a knit scarf, or have your bag be handmade. Whatever you think you're going to be selling, that's what you should be wearing when you leave the house. Okay, I was going to talk about one other thing. What does your son do, Angela? I'm curious to know why you think he would like this episode. I'm so curious. I'm always curious. I mean, for somebody that doesn't watch it regularly, I always like to hear what you think would interest somebody. Ah, he's a 3D artist. Okay, yes. So he's an artist and he needs to talk to somebody about how to get his work out there. Absolutely. A 3D artist. Can you explain that a little more? What he does with he doesn't have the confidence. Yeah, so that brings me to another point. Oftentimes business people are left-brained and artists are right-brained. Did I say that correctly or did I get it backwards? I get stuff backwards. But anyway, there's right brain and left brain, right? And there are people that are artistic and there are people that are business minded, and it's not always easy to mesh those two. And that's why I just want to start giving you little tiny tips for breaking out of that, because I'm going to guess that the majority of people here are more on the artsy side, being the people that like to do things with their hands and like to be crafty, and it's not always easy for crafty and artsy type people to think about marketing and to sell their work. Also, because we make things, it ends up being a little bit personal, and sometimes you can find, I'll find that because you're selling something that you made or something that really represents you, it makes it a little harder to sell. But I'm going to tell you right now, over the years, what I have learned is that no matter how scared you are to do it, if you just do it, the fear will go away. If you wait for the fear to go away, you'll never ever overcome it. I don't think fear goes away until you act like it's not there. Because there was a long time when I didn't do things because of fear. And I still drag my feet on things that are fear. Yes, most artists are not, maybe not most, a lot of artists are bad with marketing themselves. Yes. Left brain goes with creativity. I did say it wrong. See, there you go. Ah, Rita, your daughter's in Hawaii and making jewelry. Yes. Yes, she works with Etsy. Okay, so we're not going to get to Etsy today specifically, because when I talk about Etsy, I'm going to be talking about all the social media and all the different practices, like with keywords and when you post, how you post, and all that good stuff. So that's a whole animal in itself, where I thought talking about word of mouth was a really great place to start, and using ourselves as our own model and our own marketing tools, because I think what is that? KISS, keep it simple. STUPID. I'm not going to say it out loud, but keeping things simple in the beginning is always a good idea. And anything you can do to take advantage of your existing circle of people first, instead of reaching out to strangers, start with your circle. So people on your phone, people in your social media circles, people that you can email, anybody you can talk to personally, and share your photos, share your items. I think that's a really great place to start. And then sharing in your own little area. So when you go to the grocery store, when you go for a walk at the park, or wherever you're going, represent what you're doing. Represent it. The best way to sell something to someone else is to show them that you believe in the product too. So if you're trying to sell hats or scarves, show them how to wear them. Show them how to style them. Show them how to make them look good, right? Wear things with the right colors. Match your outfit, put your whole ensemble together. I don't walk out of this house until I'm put together every single day. What if I'm running into somebody who watches the show? What if I run into somebody who is looking to be more creative and crafty in their lives? You never know who you're going to run into. And so to always represent what I believe in is important to me. And you never know who you're going to run into. Shoot, what if I run into the president of NBC and he meets me and goes, "Oh, really? That's what you do? Let's talk about a show." Hey, girl's got a dream, right? You never know who you're going to run into. So what if you were going to run into somebody, what if you run into somebody who owns one of those boutiques in that niche market that we've talked about? You don't know. What if you're going to run into somebody that just wants to buy hats for their family, or scarves, or whatever, or jewelry, or whatever it is you're making? You don't know. Oh, Angela, yes, that is another thing that helps you to have confidence in what you're doing is that not watching what your competitors are doing. Yes, I feel like it is nearly impossible to not be inspired by their work. I'm not saying that you would be stealing or cheating or anything like that, but it's nearly impossible to be inspired, to not be inspired by someone else's work. So if you are a knitter and crocheter, as far as design goes, I wouldn't watch knitting and crochet designers. I'd maybe look at ready to wear cut and sewn designers, or I'd maybe look at other artistic mediums. I very rarely pay attention to what other knitters and crocheters are doing. I look at what other artists are doing and what other industries are doing for inspiration, but I do not focus on knitters and crocheters. So whatever is your medium, if you are a designer, thanks for bringing that up, Angela. I do find that to be very good advice. Staying positive, yes, Lucy, you can't always stay positive though. So I guess the other bit of advice I would share is that there are days when you're not going to feel positive and confident, and that's okay. When those days come, you have promising yourself that you'll just not give up no matter how bad it gets on those days is usually the best way to get through them. I mean, to go into a situation where you know you're going to have negative feelings on some days, anticipating it is kind of part of the battle. I think when we're shocked by a negative feeling, I think that's when we pay more attention to it. And if you can anticipate it, know it's coming, and know that when it comes, you make the smallest deal about it as possible, that's the quickest way to get through it. There's an author out there, Eckhart Tolle. He wrote a book called The New Earth that really left a lasting impression with me, and he always talked about non-resistance, and that it's negative feelings are going to come into your life, and it's not necessarily how you get rid of them, but I'm saying this incorrectly. He didn't talk about like fighting them. He talked about not resisting them, and he said if you don't resist the negative feelings, you're not feeding them, and if you're not feeding them, they go away quicker. And I thought that was really, really interesting. And also it also ties in with not shaming yourself and not making yourself feeling bad for having negative feelings. So the book has a lot of great information. If you're so inclined, Judy has posted a link. I do have it in my bookstore. It's one of my favorite books, and I think that it's just really helpful for allowing yourself to not go on that roller coaster when you get upset with yourself for having negative feelings. So it helps me a lot. Lots of great tips in here today, guys. I appreciate the questions and the comments so much. We have so much to talk about in this subject, and I feel like I didn't really get that far, but I am really thrilled to hear that some of you have friends and family in your circles who are artists who need some help in this department. And so if you do feel like sharing these episodes with them, I would greatly appreciate it. And I'm honored that you would do that as well, because if there's anything that I can do to help other people enjoy the process more, get more out of the process, or be more successful at selling your handmade goods, that would just make me so happy. I want people to have fun, and I want people to enjoy what they're doing. And if selling your items frees up some space in your house and allows you to have more money and more time to craft, win-win. Right? Win-win. And it means we're spreading handmade love out into the world. That's a good thing too. So anything we can do to encourage each other to go outside of our comfort zones and share our love of creativity and handmade with the world is a very good thing. And I'm more than happy to do my part, sharing my experience from all these years with all of you and with your family and friends. It is quite an honor, so thank you for that. You have made my day. Well, we are out of time, but I just want to thank you all so much for taking time out of your busy day to spend a few minutes here with me. I hope you enjoyed the conversation, the show and tell, chatting with me and everyone else here. Let us make time to create, share, and inspire today and every day. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody, and I truly hope that you make a little bit of time, even 10 minutes, to do something just for you this weekend. Thing for self-care, and I promise I will do the same. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you Monday. Same time, same place. Bye-bye.